we're going to start our proceedings. We have our two guests here. Before we start anything, I would like to offer some flower. And we would like to felicitate all our guests who are present here. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being here. Thank you for coming here. Thank you for having made the effort to come to Bhubaneswar to Centurion University. We have wanted this to happen for some time now, and it has now happened. It has fructified. I will not take much time because we are already late. Whatever I have to say, I will say during the course of the 3 days. So therefore, I would like to invite Dr. Vinod Agarwal to say a few words, and we will start the proceedings. Thank you.
Good morning to everybody. First of all, on behalf of myself, on behalf of Centurion University, Dr. Patnaik, Vice Chancellor of the University, I'd like to welcome you here on this auspicious occasion. As far as we are concerned, it's the first time that our round table is being held in another place in Centurion University. Father Aliyah has been have been mentioning this to me, and we have been discussing for several years. But it was only Dr. Patnaik last year when we were thinking where to go, how to go. He himself said, "Let's go to Centurion University," and our group, which was there, accepted the invitation. So I want to thank him for taking this initiative and getting us here. You must appreciate that this team has been meeting, the group has been meeting for 9 years. Few years before that, myself and Frank Joseph were going up and down to AIR meetings often. And during those meetings, the idea came out, we know a great deal about communication across the world. We also know a great deal about modern communication. But do we know the relationship between communication and religion? Culture we talk, specifically religion, but more so in the context of Asia, which is the mother of almost all major religions of the world that came on the world today. And how are we Asians responding to new digital media? Whether it's a modern television, or it's internet, or a smartphone, and so forth and so on. So the question has been a nagging one, bothering one, and also a very interesting one as to how Asians are responding to digital media vis-a-vis in terms of religion. The question was much more important because the tradition of orality of communication is a hallmark of all major religions of the world. At least in the context of India, nothing happens except oral. If I want to get married, I have to only say I accept my wife. If I want to perform a ritual, the Brahmin will perform orally. Now, in this high degree of orality that exists in almost all religions of the world, we were looking how the new media, digital media, satellite television are responding to this. And this one single question has attracted our attention, and I'm grateful to all of you that you are here today from various parts of the Asia, especially Bangladesh, Manila, Philippines, Thailand, and so forth and so on. So has been a slight change in the composition of the group from time to time, depending upon who could come to attend the round table. The initiative is Father Arias completely. He has taken the full responsibility. The second person who had from behind the scene did all the work is Canaran, a Chancellor of St. John's University in Bangkok, Thailand. The Asian Research Center responsible for doing all this is located on the campus there. I had the fortune of going there, and many of you have been there. There is a nucleus, there is a library, there is a reading place, and if you ever want to do a little more work in this area, you might like to visit that place. So with this few words, today what we have gathered here, almost everyone is here who had accepted our invitation to come. We will have at least discussion on Jainism, Hinduism, Christianity, Islam, and a little bit on Buddhism also. So we will have these areas of religious discussion that will take place. One area which is emerging very strongly now that we have been thinking about, what is the political ramification of all this? I use the term religious politics for future, maybe the term is not appropriate at the moment, might become tomorrow important, but this is a new area that is emerging. For example, hate studies, simply religious hate studies are another dimension of religious politics that is taking place across the world. So those are the future ideas, but at the moment I would like to first again welcome all of you, warm welcome. And I'm grateful to Professor Patnaik that he's here, and Dr. Patnaik, the younger Patnaik. Miss Patnaik, somewhere I saw Mr. Patnaik. They are all sitting here. For their efforts, tireless effort. In order to create this place, they walked up to 4:30 this morning, where you are sitting today. So thank you so much, and welcome again. And I will request Dr. Patnaik to go ahead with today's proceeding.
Thank you, Dr. Agarwal. We will have a short report done by Anthony Leduc on. See, this session is Digital Asia 2. So there was a Digital Asia 1 last year, and so we thought that it would be nice to give a kind of a background so that people will get some kind of a connect. So Anthony will make that presentation. It's a very short 5-minute or so presentation, and then we'll take it forward.
Good morning, everybody. Ladies and gentlemen, the 9th International Roundtable of the Asian Research Center for Religion and Social Communication, taking place at Centurion University, is a continuation of last year's event held at St. John's University, Bangkok, Thailand, which was entitled Religions in Digital Asia and Exploration. And this year's theme is appropriately entitled Religion in Digital Asia 2. Realities, experiences, visions. And why 2 conferences basically on the same topic? Many religions, namely religions in digital Asia. Indeed, as organizers of the roundtable reflected on the implications of Asian cultures and societies being dramatically transformed by digital technology, many questions arose which needed to be explored. Last year's roundtable attempted to address many questions, including how are religions reflected in the digital means of communication in Asia? Are there specific ways and means in the digital world which are supportive of religions in Asia? Are there any Asian values and convictions that are especially related to the digital world? After 3 days of presentations in which experts and in their respective fields presented their findings, which included a mix of theoretical investigations as well as case studies, many of the questions presented in the call for papers were addressed. So now you're looking at some photos that of the last year's event. And these are the presenters as well as some of the people who came to listen to the presentations. And this is the actual conference room where we had the round table. As you can see, some of the presenters from last year's is also present in this conference. And of course, this time we also have some new faces. After last year's roundtable concluded, the ARC board reviewed the results of the conference and felt that while the gathering addressed many important questions, there were many more issues left unanswered, and there were still more questions yet to be raised. It was decided by the ARC board members that a second conference surrounding this theme should be organized so that the theme of religion in digital Asia could be more thoroughly investigated. Some of the questions raised for this year's conference, and that was included in the call for papers, is as age-old religious traditions go online and communities establish themselves in cyberspace. How does digital technology nourish their spiritual life? Can digital technology enhance personal and communal life of online communities in ways that the traditional communities are not able to respond to? Many so-called Asian values have their roots in religious and cultural inculcation. How are these values reflected and lived out in the digital age? How might the digital age challenge these values? How does the nature of digital technology mesh with the fundamental nature of Asian religious traditions? Are there any aspects of this technology that are inherently contradictory to the spiritual foundations of certain Asian traditions? And another question, what is the role of digital technology in the intra-religious dialogue efforts taking place in Asia? Is digital technology being employed in a positive way, or is it actually contributing to distance, misunderstanding, and conflict among religions? While it is uncertain how many of these and other questions posed to our experts will be addressed in this year's roundtable, we are excited about and very much interested in any and all inquiries into this theme of religion in digital Asia. The primary reason is that this is a totally new horizon in religion and social communication research that urgently needs systematic investigation and articulation of the realities, experiences, and visions. The papers in this art roundtable will be published in our ARC journal or book series in the near future, so that the fruits of research will be made available to a wider audience of experts and non-experts alike. Thank you.
Thank you, Anthony. Thank you very much for that. I hope that gives some kind of a context to what we're doing. I just want to make one little announcement. Those shawls that we we gave you are made in the place here where we are sitting in Khurda. So these are all made here. These are very traditional. Yes, and they're all hand woven. So, okay, let's move ahead from there. Our Vice Chancellor, Dr. Haribandhu Panda, is unwell. So I would now request the Deputy Vice Chancellor, Supriya Patnaik, to say a few words.
Good morning, everyone. On behalf of Centurion University and on behalf of myself, I welcome you all to this 9th ARC roundtable, which we are hosting at Centurion University. It's indeed a pleasure to have you all here for this inauguration and for this conference. And I look forward to taking lessons back as well to see what it is that we could incorporate within our own university and our own curriculum. So just a few lines about the conference and our objectives and our interest in it. We do recognize, needless to say, that religion has been co-opted in the online realm in interesting ways. Questions of faith, reality, the nature of omniscient powers, and the ways in which these elements are integrated and reintegrated into our lives pose interesting questions for inquiry. The conference seeks to examine the ways in which digitization continues to shape and remold our thinking about religious practices. The conference takes into account as well the ways in which cultures co-opt, accept digital religious practices and their implications. The Asian continent is the progenitor of many faiths in the world, and locating these concerns in a specific Asian context is an important focus. And with this background, I hope and I wish that this conference is a success. And I kind of reiterate that I'm looking forward to taking lessons back into our country. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Now it is my pleasure and honor to introduce to you our guest today, Mr. Abasar Beoria. He has been a diplomat by career. He has been our ambassador to several important countries, including the US and Russia and many others, Myanmar and so on. Apart from that, he is also a great lover of art, and he is a writer, and he has written extremely important treatises and books on India and Odisha, particularly on culture. So we are very, very grateful for him to have made some time to come here. He had told me that he will not be able to stay for too long. So he has another doctor's appointment, but we are extremely grateful for him to have come here, and we look forward to hearing from him. Sir.
Professor Patnaik, Dr. Patnaik, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, good morning. First, my apology that we reached little late. And some of you may be wondering why I am here. I am also putting that question, why I am here in this August gathering with the topics on which probably I am not the right person to address you. I am conscious that I was born and brought up in an era when there was no television, there was no mobile, and there was no computer. So with this background, it is probably a very daring step on my part to address all of you. Ladies and gentlemen, we all are going through a very fascinating period in human history. never before in human history so many changes, so many evolutions, so many revolutions had taken place within such a short span of time, changing the whole lifestyle of people. In the past, any time there any change that took place in the field of knowledge, whether it is agriculture or whether it is industry, it took hundreds of years to be worldwide. But what is happening now is a very instant. These changes that are taking place in the field of technology particularly is so rapid and so powerful that what is happening in America today, it happens next day in any part of the world, maybe Bhubaneswar or this, that. So we are entering a very, very fascinating period, a new era, and all these years we are trying to how to cope up with this. And I think religion also is being challenged because of these changes. All these things are happening because of the technology revolution, particularly in the field of IT and telecommunications. So what we are talking about digital changes that are taking place, it's because of this. Not only that, if you people, I'll give you a small example. Think of the iPhone that came to us, which is not even 10 years, and how it has changed the whole lifestyle of all of us. It has become an part of our life. Without that, we cannot survive probably. When we are going through this technology revolution, there are other things are also happening. That is, things are being standardized. So when things are being standardized, whether you go to an office or whether you go to a computer, everything is becoming standardized. It is a big challenge to cultures, religions, languages. So this is the challenge that each one of us probably had to face while having a common platform. The technology has given us a common platform, which was not a reality in the past. Now with a click of a mouse, if you have talent or if you have to state something, you can reach any point of the world. It has given a platform to us, but while it has given a platform to us, as I said, it has put a challenge for the survival of cultures, language, and religions and other things. So how do we face this? I think Professor Hopkins has recently given a lecture in London in which he has said the way the things are changing, maybe after some time, rather than human beings in a place like Manhattan or place like Tokyo, it will be millions of these robots will be talking to each other. The life will be manned by, controlled by robots. It is true. Think of the artificial intelligence. Think of the automation that is taking place. I was the other day in the United States of America. Now they are thinking that some of the things which we are used to now will be no longer there after 3-4 years because of the automation. There may not be any need for a car. You need not own a car. Things like that. You need not also prepare your own food. Things like that. Automation is coming like that. So Professor Hopkins has said that probably the best way for all of us the human beings, should now migrate to another planet and leave this place for the robots to manage, because it can endanger the whole survival of the mankind. So he has suggested that unless we enter or deliberately plan to have collaborative cultures and interdependent civilizations, it will be very, very difficult to face the challenges that the new technology will pose for our survival of each one of us. Against this background, I don't know what will be the role of the religions to face these challenges. I think one answer will be, again, there will be collaborative religious practices. We will learn from each other. Each religion should learn from the other. And it should be an interconnected religions. As now the present global economy is interconnected. Something happens in the United States of America, it immediately affects China, it affects India, it affects probably Thailand. Similarly, for the survival of religions, because religions will never be invalid. As long as human beings are there, we require a religion, because that is how we aspire to be something apart from or above the mundane things in life to which we are used to. So religion will be always there, the moral values will be always there, the teachings, the fundamentals of religions will be there, but because of these challenges of the technology, where the lifestyle is entirely changing, I think we have to evolve religions with new methods, with interconnectivity, with interdependence, with collaboration, so that we face the digital world and the new technology. And religion, along with the human beings, will continue to struggle against this for its own survival of the human being and survival of each religion. With these words, I wish you all success, and I wish I am here to probably listen to some of you or your presentations, but as Dr. Patnaik has said, I have some other engagement. Wish you all success, and maybe this round table will contribute to show a path how the religions will play or contribute for all of us to face the new challenges of technology. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Veria. It has been enlightening. We have been discussing many of the areas that you mentioned in your talk, and we hope to continue doing that, because we realize that this is one of the most important areas for the survival of humankind and religions, and we really do need to look at it more carefully. What is also more interesting is that while a lot of discussion and work has been going on around the world, there is really very little theoretical sort of understanding and discussions about this in Asia. And we hope that this roundtable would contribute to a particularly Asian perspective. Thank you so much. Now I would like to introduce Dr. D.P. Patnaik. He is he is probably the most senior linguist of the country and probably around the world. He has several awards and publications, and he's an educationist. He has been responsible largely to navigate the entire language policy of this country for the last 40 years. Um, Very recently, he has been responsible for making the Odia language, the language of Odisha, a classical Indian language, classical language. So I would like to invite Dr. Patnaik to say a few words.
Good morning to everybody. See, Mr. Beoria has already talked to us about the challenges we face. One of the most unfortunate part that I face, that we have already accepted defeat when we say that we should leave this world and go somewhere else. So this is one of the major problems. During the last 60, 70 years, I have had running battle with Western scholars about the fact that there is no globe without locality, and there is no locality without globe. Those of them who are coming to teach us about globalization, and because of our pressure, have changed globalization into localization. I must understand this principle first. Before we decide whether we should stay here or go away or do something, or robots will to take over, we will give up. Therefore, I begin my assumption saying that we must first of all be aware of our own cultural tradition. And in order to understand religion in the Indian context, one has to understand the Indian society. Diversity is the mark of Indian culture. India is multi-ethnic, about 4,000 castes and communities, multi-religious, about 4,000 religious faiths and beliefs, multilingual, about 3,000 mother tongues and 6 language families represented here, and multicultural. Another measure of diversity is 65,000 plant varieties and 45,000 animal varieties. What is most important is that in spite of this immense diversity, India is recognized as a single language, linguistic, semantic area, a single area. It has been recognized by all scholars of the world. And we must devote some time in understanding how is it that in spite of all this diversity, we still recognize it as a single language linguistic. All religions of the world are represented in India. The other day, one of my friends had gone to Southeast Asia, and his host told him that we are grateful to India because they have given us the 3 major religions, Hinduism, Buddhism and Christianity, and Islam. They have given us the 3 religions to us, which means there has been consistent give and take among all the countries of Asia about languages, cultures, religions, etc. So that today, in the Indonesian roadshow, Ramayana is being enacted by a 13-year-old girl, Muslim girl, who can talk to you about characters in Ramayana and Mahabharata. Here, beginning with ancestral worship, worship of elements, worship of land, water, forest and mountains, to the worship of myriad forms, everything is practiced in India today. if we do not understand this thing, then we would always be caught up in the logical conflict that the world is facing. And what is interesting is that Hinduism, which is the majority religion of this country, is a conglomerate of minority religions. It's not one religion. With 33 billions of gods and goddesses among the Hindus, recognized by the Hindus. If we do not understand this, we do not understand the world. We think of leaving the world and going away somewhere. How is it that during the last 5,000 years, a culture, in spite of all this diversity, survived? This is one thing that we know. And it is said that all the important religious leaders have visited India. Even Jesus Christ, whose 18 years of life are not accounted for in the Bible, is supposed to have spent that time in India, and he is supposed to have come to Puri, Jagannath, which is the greatest synthesis of religions. I think very few people know about it. It is a Savara deity, tribal god, adopted by a Brahmin minister of a Hindu king. And all the religious sects have accepted Jagannath as their deity. The Buddhists, one of the greatest Buddhist texts, write, Pranipatyam Jagannatham Sarva Jina Vararthita. Jagannath, you are worshipped by all the Jinas and Buddhas. You are Buddha. Similarly, all the sects, heads of sects, they have come and visited Puri, and Jagannath has been adopted as their god. They have seen their god in Jagannath. And Jagannath is a fantastic image which has no hands, no legs, no eyes, only 2 eyes, no ears, nothing of the kind. So, you see, this synthesis is something, religious synthesis is something we must understand. Otherwise, we cannot do this. As I told you, our word is not religion. Religion is a word which has been, I was trying to remember what is the date of the source of the Latin word from which it has been derived. But our word for it is dharma. Dharma is not religion. Dharma is the principle which holds together. Dharana dharma which holds together. Holds together what? Holds together diversity. The principles which holds together diversity is dharma. Therefore, to give food to a poor man is my dharma. It is my religion, is to give food to him. To give support to a needy is my dharma. It is my religion. The dharma for us is a religion in a different sense, not in the sense of theology. Therefore, this is very important to understand this thing. And if this culture has survived together, it is because of a fundamental logical base which is different from that of the West. The Western logical base is either or. Either you or me. There is no space for anybody else. Our logical space of the world, minus the West, is both and. You, I, and. Then which takes the whole universe in its, it is a relationship-based relation. We are tied up in a silken cord of relationship. And it is that which has maintained us, survived us, that we are complementary to one another. We are not contradictory. That this complementarity is what held the plurality together. And unless we understand this complementarity, the religions will continue to fight. Christianity fought among themselves, it fought with other religions. Islam has fought among themselves, they are fighting against us. Everybody thinks that we can make the others, convert them into our way of thinking. This is not the way of the world that we have grown up in. The Gandhian world in which we grew up is different from the Marxian world. Because Gandhi said that India lives in its 5 lakhs village. We have given it up now. We are following the Western path. We are building smart cities. We are building smart states. But we have forgotten the villages. We have forgotten the people. We have forgotten the religion. We have forgotten the spiritual values and other things. Therefore, unless we accept complementarity as the basic principles of our existence, we won't be able to go anywhere else. Thank you.
Good morning again. It's my pleasure to offer a vote of thanks to everyone who's helped this conference come to fruition today, and I'd like to keep it brief. First, the chief guests, Dr. Behuria and Dr. Patnaik. Between the two of them, the discourse on religion spanned all the way from an armless, legless tribal god to artificial intelligence and our first steps towards colonizing Mars. So that's a lot to think about. Thank you, sir. Second, all the participants who have come all the way to Bhubaneswar, to our campus and the Institute of Knowledge Societies to participate in this conference, I'd like to sing aloud a special thank you to our participants from Manila, Philippines, from Bangkok, from Bangladesh, from Chennai, and from Manipur, and from Delhi. Yes, that's the last on my list. That is on my list. The third set of people who I'd like to thank are the organizers. Among the organizers, first, Father Dr. Franz Eilers, who has initiated these roundtables and has seen it through its journey over 9 years. Dr. China Rong, Chancellor of St. John's University, Professor Chandrabhanu Patnaik, tireless efforts to try to help this conference come together. Also, the media who are present, thank you very much for coming and for your coverage and support. All the students and observers and faculty from the university who are here. And last, the many, many workers who helped put this facility together over very little time. While we were all sleeping, many workers were here hammering and sawing and putting together and welding and carpentry. So thank you to everyone who's here for this conference. I hope it's going to be a sparkling discourse.